Hey, you did it again, folks. You got to the Blazor Puzzle.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I'm Carl Franklin from AppVNext. That's Jeff Fritz from Microsoft. Hey, Jeff, what's new?
Hello, how you doing, my friend? We are just a few weeks from .NET Conf and .NET 9.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you, but I get excited. I feel like it's like Christmas when we get a new version of .NET, a new version of Blazor. You know?
Yeah.
Lots of excitement building for the event.
Yep, there's new stuff that you don't want to miss. So
absolutely.
Check that out. Plus, it's just a cool day to hang out, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. Wait, not only a cool day of all the announcements that are going to happen on Tuesday, November 12th, but then there's additional presentations from folks at Microsoft and then additional talks from folks in the community.
Yeah.
And then there's even more content that we're going to publish on Friday. So make sure you check it out. It's all going to be on YouTube. Lots of great stuff for folks to check out for .NET Conf coming up here.
All right. So just Google it if you don't know how to get there. But in case you want to go directly there, what's the URL?
It's easy. .netconf.net. So DOTNETCONF.net.
Fantastic. All right. Let's jump into last week's puzzle, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, so this one was navigation problems, and we were having a little problem with navigation from the home page. All right, what we have is this parameter that comes from the query string, and the name of it is campaign, right?
Yeah.
So when you go to OnInitialized, we want to look to see if that string is null or empty, campaign, and if it isn't, we're going to navigate to the campaign page.
Yep. This is something folks might see, they might do around marketing campaigns that they have for a website they're promoting with a link on social media somewhere or in a blog. And hey, you want to click through and check out more information about this. So you put one of those UTM identifiers on a query string so that it gets picked up and you can do some fun routing and things based off of that when somebody visits your website.
Now, there was a little obfuscation here. If you're not familiar with how to do supply parameters from query, you might think that you still need to add that as a route, and you don't because it's not a route parameter. It's a query string parameter. So that was kind of, you have to know that first. But let's run it and see what happens. All right, so if I click the link or I hover over it, you can see down in the lower left that it's passing a code, right? Yep. So if I click that, boom, I get a little problem here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Navigation exception. So do you want to explain what's going on here, Jeff? Or should I use the winner's explanation, which I thought was pretty good?
Our winner had a really good explanation for this. So why don't we go to some of their reply for us and talk about this?
So, hello, Carl and Jeff. It should be better documented, but it seems the NavigateTo throws an exception intentionally to be caught by the framework so that the execution of code on the current page breaks. But since the page is not rendered yet, when OnInitialized fires, it gets thrown in the current page context. This exception can be safely ignored when using the debugger in the exception settings of Visual Studio.
Yep.
And he says, personally, instead of ignoring the exception in the debugger, I would solve it by having the external links point directly to the campaign page instead, so you don't have to use the navigation manager for that. That's a good solution, but, it's not very Blazor-ish, right?
Not just not very Blazor-ish, but there's also some things that folks will have living on those pages with Google Analytics or other analytic services that read that those campaigns came in, and they're going to capture and route those to different places. So navigating directly to the campaign, absolutely, it's a valid solution, a good solution that we can solve without having to change any code. But there's reasons that we want to be able to route through this initial landing page as well.
So the key or the clue was in his message that the page isn't fully rendered yet. So where do you think we might be able to navigate on after initialized? Right.
Well, on after render, right?
That's what I meant. On after render, of course.
Yeah.
On after render passes first render, and if it's first render, then you can navigate safely. So our winner is, drum roll please, Henrik Carlson.
Yeah, Henrik.
And for being picked from the correct answers, Henrik is going to win one of these.
Ooh.
A turbocharged Blazor puzzle mug.
Turbocharged?
Turbocharged. Mm-hmm. Especially when you fill it up with coffee.
Yeah.
Or something else. I don't know.
I think that's nitro coffee charge. Right?
Yeah, right.
All right.
All right. So Henrik is also going to win one of these.
Ooh. An
artisanal Blazor puzzle t-shirt.
Yeah. Look at that. All right.
The stamp of artisanal on it.
Now,
what?
There were a couple funny things about this puzzle, Carl, that some of our viewers caught on to.
Mm-hmm.
If you ran this at the command line, or if you ran it outside of Visual Studio, even in Visual Studio Code, you didn't get the error.
That's right.
And as Henrik pointed out, it only gets caught by the framework in Visual Studio when you tell it to catch all errors.
Right. So you can turn the catch all errors off in your options, and then you won't get that error.
Right.
But I think the better answer is to just wait until you've rendered.
Yep.
Probably. Okay. It's time for the new puzzle. Hit it.
Oh, man, I can't wait. Let's take a look.
Yeah. All right, this is a very blank page, obviously, but we have what's called a timer demo. And this came from a real-world situation where a customer of mine wanted to monitor mouse movement and clicks and all that stuff in their page. And after a certain number of seconds of inactivity, do something. Be notified that, you've timed out. Okay.
Okay.
The killer is, though, on that page, there's an iframe. And if you move around outside of the iframe, then you reset the timer with the movement. But after 5 seconds, a display warning comes here. Warning it'll change to timeout. All right.
Okay.
But what they want to do is also monitor the changes inside the iframe. Okay. So, but look, as I'm moving around, it still times out. Now, just to show you what's going on here, we have the console output. Let me pull that up. And as I move around outside, you see this resetting timer down there. That's just a little console log. But if I move inside, it doesn't reset the timer. So let's take a look at the code. So here's my JavaScript, right? And it's inside timer demo. So for simplicity's sake, I have a register timer method past the .NET object, just some console logs. And I add the listeners to the document for mouse move, key press, click, and scroll. And then I look for iframe, and I have that ID set to my iframe, and that is down here, my iframe.
Okay.
Okay. And if I get that, I'm registering it and adding event listeners to it. And then I call this set timer interval, right? Passing through the .NET object that was passed to me. Set timer interval does a timer, essentially. And if the timer is over the max time, which we've defined up here as 5,000 milliseconds, then we're going to call idle warning. And idle warning is going to invoke update idle warning message. And that is a JS invocable right there. Okay. So our message that is shown says, at first, waiting for the timeout, and on after render async, if it's the first render, we call register timer.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yep. And this is how we show that message when the timer is up. So it doesn't work. And Why doesn't it work, folks?
This is a lot of interactive JavaScript you're writing back and forth here. I got to brush up on my JavaScript skills for this one, Carl.
Yep. This is a JavaScript challenge, but it's very much in the wheelhouse of something that a real-world Blazor customer wants to do.
Absolutely.
So if you think you know the answer, don't post it on social media.
No.
But instead, send it to Jeff and me at blazorpuzzle@aptnext.com with the subject puzzle number 54.
Yeah.
And good luck. Obsess away. We want to hear the answer next week. We'll see you.
All righty. Take care, friends.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out blazortrain.com and the .NETshow.com for more great content.